St. Bonaventure Catholic Church in Huntington Beach, California presents
Rebuilt and Renewed,
Bringing the Word Home.
Welcome to Rebuilt and Renewed. The season of Lent is upon us. It's a season of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. It's a season where we come to recognize God's total fidelity to us. But sometimes we struggle to be faithful back to God. But this is a season of do-overs, a season that we get to try again with His help and His mercy to come back into full communion with Him. This week, Valerie McCarthy, a wife and mother of a young family in our parish, shares with us the challenges that committing to a Lenten promise can mean in our busy everyday lives. She also shares with us some practical notes on how this Lent can be both a challenge and a blessing for us this year.
This coming week, we'll celebrate Ash Wednesday, the kickoff to Lent, that time when we journey with Jesus into the desert. So Lent is one of those seasons in our church that as I get older, I find myself enjoying more and more. I know it sounds really strange. It's not a season I usually get necessarily excited about. One of the first things I think is Lent, no meat on Fridays. Give things up. Like sweets, TV, maybe music, like wine. In the past, Lent has at times felt like a chore, and I already have a never-ending list of chores. Does anyone else see a little of God's humor in it falling on Valentine's Day? I just know I'll get this cute little box of See's candies handpicked with all my favorites. I've been good at watching what I eat. I have totally been limiting the sweets. I can totally eat these. Oh, but wait, it's Ash Wednesday, which means fasting. But it's not like it's meat, right? See, from the get-go, I'm already grappling with, do I fast or do I go for it? I can already feel the temptation. Really, God? It's just the first day. Well, what I really feel is the compromise. So, for example, we're not eating meat today. I should keep it simple. Well, that's okay. We'll go out for sushi. See, on a day of fasting, am I really fasting? It's so easy to get it not quite right. But that's why I think I'm excited about Lent this year. It's like a challenge. This year, can I really journey with Jesus? Do I have what it takes to stick it out? Last year's Lent wasn't so hot. If report cards were given out, I'd have received a giant needs improvement, and the comments would have said, little effort, poor follow through, didn't hang in there. I really feel like there was just one obstacle after another, and I ended the season knowing that I didn't do what I wanted to do, what I'd said I'd do. I didn't live up to my commitment. But also, I didn't take time to make an actual commitment. I just sort of rolled into Lent like it was an old habit, and it felt like a chore. I don't know if you out there in podcast land have had that feeling, the one of knowing you didn't give enough, of not following through, of not trying harder. It's not a good feeling, and it left me very unmotivated. I just allowed myself to get caught up in life. We all know the feeling of having a million things to do. For me, it's kids, school, work, commitments, house, dog, sports. Did I say kids? Oh, and there's a husband in there somewhere. But looking back on last year's Lent, I realized why I'm so excited, so pumped up for Lent this year. It's because I get a do-over. The beauty in God's love, in the covenant He made with us, is that we all get do-overs. And at any time, we don't have to wait for Lent. The first reading tells of the covenant He made with us. His promise after the flood washed the earth clean. It was God's do-over. The second reading calls it a pre-baptism, a coming clean. But that's what we can tap into at any time. We can because God's love is steadfast. I love that word, steadfast. We're the ones who break the covenant with God. And it happens when we tell ourselves the lie that we can do things on our own without God. And it goes like this. Nah, I'm good. It's okay if I don't make it to Mass today. Or, I haven't really done anything wrong, so I don't really need to go to confession. Or how about, I should really pray more, but I'll do it later. Or, I don't need to pick up the Bible tonight. I'm good. Maybe tomorrow. I mean, it sounds a little exaggerated, but I've been a culprit to all these thoughts. See, we break the covenant when we believe that we don't really need God first. And our relationship with God, it ebbs and flows, and that's okay. It can be a challenge for us to understand that it's okay if we feel like that. But it is okay. We're not perfect. We're human. God's covenant means He won't turn His back on us for thinking that way. He won't turn His back on us for living like we don't need Him. But once we understand that we really do need God and understand why we need Him, we grow and we get better. And getting better is how we get fit with God. When we're fit with God, we handle those things in life that we can get caught up in. Things like busy schedules, the feelings of being stretched too thin, tiredness, exhaustion, worry, stress, pain. And I finally come to the vital understanding that all those things in life that we get caught up in, they don't go away. With God, we experience in life the things that we deeply want and desperately need, like peace and calm, appreciation and joy, no matter what's going on in our lives. That's how God rewards us for trusting in Him and in His love. The psalm is such a beautiful message we can repeat over and over to ourselves this Lent. Your ways are love and truth to those who keep your covenant. Teach us your ways, guide us in truth. When we humble ourselves and ask God, what do I do? Or how do I do this? We have to know He'll show us. This reminds me of a funny saying, and it goes, we plan and God laughs, right? We can have one idea about how our life should go, and sometimes God just says, nope. And things can feel upside down. But if we asked ourselves, who but God could plan a better life for us, and we allow Him to teach us His ways and let Him take over, how deep would our bond become? What is one thing in our lives right now that would be so much better if we let God's love permeate every corner of our being? What if this Lent we woke up and took a minute, the first minute of our day, to simply say, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for another day. Thank you for your love. And doing just that, just that simple thank you in the morning, I've come to recognize what His covenant, what that purpose has meant for me. It's meant recognizing my blessings in a loving family, in beautiful, good-hearted children, in a loving, very non-perfect spouse, in friends and job opportunities, and in a great community, fantastic neighbors. Again, this Lent, let's challenge ourselves to see God's love for us in the middle of our crazy lives and see what we can become as a result of it. So I hope you can also get excited for Lent this year. Maybe you're like me and need a do-over. I'm working on a list of things to do with my husband and kids during Lent, like going to the Stations of the Cross, praying the rosary, reading some more Bible stories. Maybe you can do the same. I challenge you to take time and make a real commitment, one that's doable and sincere. And I know we'll find ourselves growing and being better for it. I wish you all a very fulfilling and meaningful Lent.
We thank Valerie for her honesty and for her insight as we begin this beautiful season of Lent. I've come to realize that even if we fail in the middle of Lent, we also have an opportunity for a do-over, to start again and to retrust in the grace of God and His ability to make us new. A quick building update this week. We have completed the first city plan check. The architect and consultants are working on implementing the city requirements, which will take 2 or 3 weeks more. Then we will go back for the final plan check. Thanks be to God. We are preparing for the move from the church into the hall for liturgical services during the renovation. We're asking that if anybody has a responsibility for anything stored in the church, to please contact Patrick Powers here in the Parish Center so we can determine the proper disposition of these items for our move. Until next time, thanks for listening in to
Rebuilt and renewed.
Bringing the word home.